everyone. My name's Anne-Marie, and I am a registered social worker and mental health clinician in Ontario, Canada, and I'm with MindJoy. MindJoy is all about how to improve mental health and have a full life. Today I want to talk to you about smoking. I've worked with a lot of people over the years who want to quit smoking and who can't. They try, and for whatever reason, despite all the support they get, it doesn't work. And at the same time, I also know people that can smoke socially. They can pick up a cigarette at a party, no problem, smoke once in a while, and never get addicted. So why is it that some people, as hard as they try, cannot quit smoking, and other people can just pick up a cigarette whenever they want, no problem? I'm going to tell you why. At least I'm going to tell you the reason I believe why. This reason is based on research, and I'll include some links below with more information, but it's also something we call promising practice. So in the field of mental health, there's evidence-based practice, which is things that we do, intervention strategies we do that are based on research and evidence. And then there's something called promising practice, which is basically stuff we learn along the way that seems to work. And I have a lot of promising practice I've learned from working with hundreds of people who taught me from their own lived experience, their lived expertise, as I call it, about what works and what doesn't work. And one of those promising practices that I've learned is the real reason why some people cannot quit smoking. And usually people fall into one of two categories. First, let's talk about cigarettes. Cigarettes are addictive because of nicotine. And what is nicotine? It's a stimulant. It stimulates your central nervous system, and it sends messages to your brain to increase chemicals called neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters send messages and help your brain communicate and do a lot of other things. And two of those neurotransmitters are called dopamine and norepinephrine, and those two are primarily affected by stimulants, such as nicotine. So why am I talking about that? Because the reason why some people can't quit smoking is because they need stimulants. And those two categories of people that I talked about are people with possibly misdiagnosed or undiagnosed depression and ADHD. So think about that for a minute. If you have depression, symptoms of lethargy, lack of motivation, feeling like you're in a fog all the time, sadness, all those things are helped by a stimulant. And often medications for antidepressants include stimulant properties. On the other side, ADHD. People with ADHD also benefit from stimulants. Did you know that Ritalin, a common medication used for ADHD, is actually a stimulant? People say it doesn't make sense. People with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder are hyperactive. Why would you give them a stimulant? The reason why they're hyperactive is they can't focus, or they can't focus well. Stimulants help you focus, and it helps those neurotransmitters in the brain, dopamine and norepinephrine, which are involved in ADHD. It helps them work better and help the brain communicate better. So all that to say is a lot of people, I believe, are self-medicating depression and or ADHD using nicotine. And the people that can't quit are those that are self-medicating, because once you remove the cigarettes, all the symptoms of depression and or ADHD come to the surface. So what do? They go back to the nicotine. Now, the symptoms of withdrawal from nicotine can look like depression and ADHD. It makes you fidgety, it makes you tired, it can give you headaches, all these different things. But withdrawal symptoms aside, if people look at their own mental health and ask themselves, do I think I maybe struggle with one of those two things? Maybe talk to your doctor about it. I'm a social worker. I am not a doctor, but I want to give you this information, this promising practice of what I've learned in the field to possibly explore if these are the reasons why you cannot quit smoking. The idea is, let's say you have depression. Let's say that's the one you think about it. You think of your life before smoking, or you think of your life anytime you've tried to quit, and do you generally have symptoms of depression? And if you think that might be you, what the plan would be is you'd talk to your support care team, whether it's a doctor, a counselor, anyone else involved in your care, family, people you trust, and talk about a plan of how to support your depression so that once you remove the nicotine, the cigarettes, you will still feel good. So for example, maybe that plan might include an antidepressant, it might include counseling, it might include lifestyle changes, it might include, diet, exercise, different things like that. It might include cognitive behavioral therapy, which is very good for depression. All these things, if you put the right supports in place, the idea is you could remove the cigarettes and you would be okay. And you would be less likely to depend on them. Same with ADHD. If you talk to your doctor about looking to see if you could possibly be diagnosed with this, a lot of people are overdiagnosed, so be careful. But if you think genuinely, if you look at your school history and asking your parents, did I have symptoms of ADHD as a child? A lot of people my age and older were never diagnosed because it wasn't as common back then. It wasn't as well known. So 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, if you cannot quit smoking and you think you might have had these symptoms, talk to your care team and say, do you think that there's some things we can put in place to help me? Maybe it's stimulant medication or other ways to get stimulants into your body, other ways to create focus, learning coping strategies so that you can remove the nicotine, which is unhealthy, and still have good focus and alertness and appropriate energy. I hope this is helpful. At the end of the day, I just want people to have good insight and awareness to their mental health and then the right supports so you can remove nicotine and no longer need to self-medicate because you've got other supports in place. So if this is you, if you are someone who struggles to quit smoking and you think you might fall into one of these two categories, talk to your doctor, talk to your care team. If you don't have a care team, find one. And hopefully you will be able to finally let go of those cigarettes and find more health and wellness in other ways. I really wish you peace and I wish you happiness and a life full of joy. And let me know in the comments below if this video is helpful, if you want more on this subject or any subject you're interested in. I've got a lot that I hope to talk about because I really desire to see people walk in freedom and in life-giving joy. All right.